Hidden teachings of the masters, secrets to spiritual power and enlightenment. What if the greatest mysteries of life, healing, manifestation, and boundless energy were already within you? For centuries, the masters of the Far East have guarded knowledge that challenges everything we know about reality. Today, we unlock their most profound secrets, lessons that can transform the way you think, live, and experience the world. If you're ready to awaken your true potential, subscribe now and join us on this incredible journey. The power of the mind. A single thought has the power to shape reality. The masters understood this long before modern science confirmed that our beliefs influence the physical world. Every great achievement, every transformation begins with a thought, a tiny seed that, when nurtured, grows into something extraordinary. A disciple once asked his master, "How can my thoughts change my life?" The master picked up a seed and placed it in the disciple's hand. This small seed contains the essence of a mighty tree. If you plant it, water it, and care for it, it will grow beyond what you can imagine. But if you cast it aside in doubt, it will never take root. Your thoughts are the same. Whatever you cultivate in your mind, you bring into existence. This teaching aligns with what science now calls the observer effect, the idea that focused attention alters the outcome of an event. What we concentrate on expands. Whether consciously or unconsciously, we are always creating. The masters teach that when we align our thoughts with truth, love, and possibility, we step into our true creative power. But to do so, we must first master the mind. One of the greatest lessons in this mastery comes from the silent master. A young student, eager to learn, approached a revered master and asked question after question. But the master said nothing. He simply sat, eyes closed, exuding deep peace. The student grew frustrated and finally demanded, "Why do you not answer me?" The master slowly opened his eyes and spoke one sentence, "Only in stillness can true wisdom be heard." The student was confused at first, but over time he realized the lesson. Our minds are filled with constant chatter, expectations, worries, and distractions. True wisdom cannot enter a mind that is already full. The masters teach that silence is not empty, it is full of understanding. In moments of stillness, we connect to the deepest part of ourselves, where all answers reside. When we quiet the noise, the wisdom of the universe speaks. Breaking free from limitations. Many people live their lives believing in walls they cannot see, boundaries created by fear, doubt, and conditioned thinking. The masters teach that these barriers are illusions, and the moment we recognize them as such, we become free. A traveler once arrived at a monastery, desperate for guidance. The master pointed to a massive stone wall and asked, "Do you believe you can walk through this?" The traveler laughed. "Of course not. It is solid and unbreakable." The master simply smiled and said, "Only because you think it is." With that, he stepped forward and passed through the wall as if it were air. This was not magic. It was understanding. The masters knew that the physical world is shaped by the mind. While we may not pass through walls, we constantly encounter invisible barriers of self-doubt, fear, and perceived limitations. But what if those barriers were only as real as we believe them to be? Another lesson in breaking free from limitations comes from the story of the unshaken monk. A fierce storm raged through a small village, sending people running for cover. In the middle of the chaos, a monk sat in complete stillness beneath a tree, unmoved by the wind and rain. A villager asked, "Why do you not seek shelter? The storm is dangerous." The monk smiled and replied, "The storm is only outside if I allow it inside." The masters teach that external chaos cannot touch an inner world that remains undisturbed. Fear, suffering, and resistance only have power over us when we let them in. So how can you free yourself from the invisible limits in your life? Start by recognizing that the barriers you face are often self-imposed. The first step is awareness, seeing the limitations not as truths, but as choices. The second step is action, challenging a limiting belief today. It can be as simple as telling yourself, "I am capable, I am strong," or "I am free." Transformation begins when we stop believing in walls. The hidden forces of energy and breath. The masters understood that energy is the fundamental force of all life. Every movement, every breath, Every thought is a current of energy flowing through us. Yet most people remain disconnected from this infinite source, unaware of the power available within them. A disciple once asked his master, "How do you never grow tired?" The master took a deep breath, exhaled, and replied, "Because I do not resist the flow of life." One of the greatest secrets of the masters is the sacred breath, the conscious use of breath to channel divine energy. The air we breathe is not just oxygen, it is prana, the life force that sustains all creation. When we breathe deeply and intentionally, we awaken dormant energy, sharpen the mind, and restore vitality. The masters teach that short, shallow breaths lead to stress and stagnation, while deep, rhythmic breaths harmonize body and spirit. Try this. Close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Feel how life energy flows through you. This is the foundation of pranic power. Another great secret is the eternal light, the force that keeps the masters vibrant and youthful, despite the passage of time. A visitor once saw a master whose face glowed with an otherworldly radiance. Intrigued, the visitor asked, "What is your secret to eternal youth?" The master smiled and said, "Live in the present, hold no resentment, and let joy be your breath." The masters teach that aging is not just a process of time, it is a reflection of energy. Those who cultivate lightness of being, free from the burdens of regret and worry, carry a vitality that defies the years. These teachings remind us that energy is infinite, and we are its conduits. When we align with this current, exhaustion fades, creativity flows, and we step into our highest potential. If this wisdom resonates with you, like and share this video to help more people awaken to these truths. The hidden code of manifestation. A disciple once asked his master, "Why do my desires go unanswered?" The master replied, "Because you wish for them instead of knowing they are already yours." The masters teach that manifestation is not about hoping, it is about certainty. True creation comes not from asking the universe, but from aligning with the belief that it is already done. One day, a group of travelers arrived at a master's home, exhausted and hungry. There was no food in sight, yet the master smiled and invited them to sit. Moments later, a full meal appeared before them. "How is this possible?" one traveler asked. The master replied, "Because lack is an illusion. The universe is always abundant." The masters understood that the external world is a reflection of inner belief. Those who see scarcity find scarcity. Those who embrace abundance receive abundance. What are you manifesting right now without even realizing it? Your thoughts, emotions, and expectations are shaping your reality in this very moment. Change one limiting thought today and replace it with an empowered belief. The universe is always responding. What will you choose to create? The eternal truth beyond life and death. A disciple once asked his master, "What happens when we die?" The master held up a candle and blew it out. Does the flame disappear, or does it return to its source? The masters teach that life is not bound to the body. It is an infinite current that never ceases. Just as the flame exists before and after it is seen, our true essence is eternal. One of the most profound lessons in spiritual immortality comes from the story of the master's disappearance. A devoted student awoke one morning to find that his beloved teacher was gone. At first, he felt lost. Then he heard his master's voice within him. "Did you think truth was in me, not within yourself?" The greatest teachers eventually disappear, not to abandon their students, but to guide them inward. The masters do not want followers. They want awakened beings who recognize their own power. What if everything external, your guides, your beliefs, even your identity, was taken away? Would you still have power? The masters teach that the journey is not about grasping for something outside of us, but realizing that we are the source itself. The key to inner mastery is detachment, not from love, but from dependency. When we no longer cling to the physical, we are free. When we release the need for external validation, we realize we were never truly lacking. You are not just your body. You are not just your thoughts. You are the eternal spark that existed before time itself. Let this truth guide you beyond fear, beyond limitation, and into the vastness of your own divine nature. Awakening to the lesson. The teachings of the masters are not myths. They are timeless principles that anyone can apply. The wisdom shared in these stories is meant to empower you to see beyond your perceived limitations and step into the life you were meant to live. Each lesson is an invitation to awaken, to shift your perspective, and to embrace the infinite potential within. These are not just stories, they are blueprints for transformation. Which lesson spoke to you the most? Let's discuss in the comments below. Your insights and reflections could inspire someone else on their journey. If you found this powerful, subscribe and be part of our journey to uncovering more ancient wisdom. Together, let's continue to explore and apply these timeless teachings to our lives.